You want to be real for a minute? This car stresses me out. This time on TYGR's Garage, we're back on the Roadrunner. We've had a touch of stink bug tunnel vision lately, but don't worry, I didn't forget about this beautiful blue car, and we need to make sure it's ready to hit the streets because spring has pretty much sprung here, and we're not ready. Even though we haven't been working on this thing, doesn't mean I haven't been thinking about working on it. There's a couple things I want to try. If you remember way back to the last time we drove this, me and my wife kind of tootled it around and I was stressed out and nervous looking the whole time. Nothing has changed in there. It's fine. But I still want to go back to the storage unit. Remember that? It's because the gauge was saying it was getting hot and I didn't want to believe it. I don't know if I did or not. It sits here and idles forever and it doesn't boil over. So I was pretty sure it wasn't getting hot, but the gauge was telling me it was getting hot. I've thought about that a lot since then, and there's a couple things I want to do before we take our next drive to either prove me right or prove me wrong. Here's what I think the actual problem might be and where we're gonna start. We're probably gonna do a couple things at once, which is not my usual testing procedure, but that's how it's gonna go. Here's the thing. These senders work by dropping to ground. That's why there's very little pipe dope on this. That's not an accident. This is an aluminum water pump. There's bolts going through it into the block. Even with the gasket and stuff, I'm convinced that these two are bonded. What I'm not convinced of is that the rest of the engine is properly bonded to the car. Now, if you think about the issues we were seeing, I know it was a long time ago, but stay with me. We might have a ground issue, like a lack of ground issue. And that's what's causing our crazy inconsistent readings, especially when it's moving. Like this thing vibrates and moves all over the place, right? Big honking motor, kind of worn out motor mounts, to be honest with you. When I rev it, the temperature changes that a little bit. Maybe that happens, but not as much as we were seeing. I'm gonna put a couple chassis grounds up here. It cannot hurt, it can only help, and we'll try to do it in a way that isn't real ugly. So I brought my whole box of assorted wiring stuff over. I see a ground cable in there. I got a couple right here on top. And let's try to bond. Let's bond together. I brought some bolts too. Let me see what size that is. I'm hoping 3/8 is what these are. Oh God, good guess. Now how deep are they is the thing. I don't know if I have any super short 3/8. Okay, I think I got a plan. I'm gonna use this actual battery cable. I'm gonna buck the terminal off, put a ring terminal on it. I don't have a short enough bolt, but I can do like a jam nut situation to kind of get us by today. That's an easy change later. It's not permanent. I don't feel like driving home. Let's make our cable. And I got an idea. I'll show you when we get there. Okay. Put this back in the I'll never probably use it pile. I don't think these are really the right plier for this, but we're gonna go from this top one. We're gonna clean that up with a bit of sandpaper, and we know that the block paint job isn't that good, so we don't really care. And then I've got my 3/8 that's too long, but I got a jam nut on the shoulder, so I'll thread this in all the way, and then I can sneak the nut up to it. This kind of wants to lay that way anyway, so we'll put this end at the top. So now this end, we got options. My plan is I think we're gonna come down somewhere around the steering box. There's a little bracket that has 3/8 bolts in it that hold this little torque arm rod. I think we're gonna take one of those out and we'll sandwich this in here, and that is gonna ground the actual engine block to the subframe, which is connected to everything else. This is that bracket I was talking about, and this is the bolt I think we're gonna shoot at. Now the plan is to sneak this kind of down in there where it ended up being plenty long, I realized that. So now we know we got at least one good ground up front here. So listen, I have a couple other things I thought about trying, including a mechanical gauge, just to see if they agree with each other, and we still might do that. I'm just a little bit conflicted on whether we should try this first or just go right to it. Either way, if I put a mechanical gauge in this thing, it's probably not gonna go in the cabin because there's no easy hole to get to, so it would sit out here, which is whatever. If I do that, I'm using one of these ports, I gotta take it out. Coolant's gonna go everywhere because coolant is, this high. So if I pull one of those out, it's gonna leak. So I think I'm gonna get this thing off the stands, push it back. We may just fire it up, see if the reading looks any more steady. Although it will be hot then, and that will be more annoying. I don't know what to do, is what I'm saying. I go back and forth. We're gonna get it off the stands. You wanna be real for a minute? This car stresses me out. It means a lot to me. Expensive, can't really afford another one. So I kind of avoid driving it and working on it because of that, because I'm stressed out. Like where stink bug is no stress. Like look at me looking at paint chips right now. So if I think this thing's gonna overheat every time, it's gonna sit here, is the truth. Everybody that I know that sees this thing is like, if I had that, I'd drive it every day. No, you wouldn't. I'm sorry, but you wouldn't. Some people, there's a couple in the world, I guess, that maybe would, but I want this thing to be like dead nuts reliable. It's obviously not a daily, but I want to take this to work or something like that, and I can't do that if I'm stressed out. So we have to earn each other's trust here. We haven't done that yet. What I'm saying is I think I'm going to put that mechanical gauge in. Leak a little coolant, figure it out. Two data sources, right? I need to see the numbers, so we're going to make the numbers. We're going to try to do it with losing as little coolant as possible. We're going to lose some. I brought some water. We'll top it back off. I'm going to set you guys down, and then it's going to be flying hands. Try to plug the hole in the boat before all the coolant leaks out. We're going for this hole. I've got it loose. You can see it's weeping a bit. Now this is how this gauge works, right? It's got a probe, which God, I hope it's deep enough. If not, we got problems. So this has to go in there. That has to go like that. I hope it doesn't like shoot up to the sky. Ready? Okay. You know, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't great. But let me get that tighter than it is now, and then we'll let it dry. It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. I don't think I showed you guys, but here's the actual gauge itself, right? It's a mechanical temp gauge. We run one just like it in Stink Bug. You cannot cut this little copper tube. That's how it gets the temperature from there's like gas in that bulb, and it expands and moves the gauge. This is temporary just to prove myself right or wrong, I guess, but I just kind of want it right here. This is a double check. Like if I think the car's getting hot on the other gauge, this gauge, I want to be able to run out, pop the hood, have a peek at that and see if it agrees. I'm not looking for them to be exactly the same number, but I'm looking for them to be within 10, 15 degrees of each other. Listen, this is testing. Testing isn't pretty sometimes, okay? Don't worry, we're not hacks. We're gonna trim the tail. All joking aside, this truly is just a test. We're not gonna leave it like that very long. We're gonna leave it like that long enough to take it on a drive and see if I'm right, if I'm wrong, see what the car is telling us. Cold-blooded. Come on. We'll just hold her at the high idle. Right now we got about 145 on the inside gauge, 150 on the outside gauge. We'll just keep watching both until I feel comfortable, which might be 5-10 years from now. Waiting for the fans to come on now. There they go. Can't quite see the gauge to the hood scoop. We're gonna move this. I don't know if this will fit in here. I think it'll close. All right, to the house. A little bit faster than Stink Bug. So the middle one's water. Remember that from last time? I changed up some of the electrical. I feel like that was part of the problem.
If I remember correctly, it was hot here, but when you opened it up and did the temperature gauge, it was fine.
It was reading hot.
Yeah.
Here, but not out there. So I also put another gauge out there. So if I get nervous, I can pull over and check them against each other.
You mean when you get nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't bring any tools or nothing, which is probably...
Wow, that's really brave of you.
Well, it wasn't necessarily on purpose. As long as that gauge stays about 180, it's easy to be nervous in one like this.
I know, but if it's not fun, what are we doing?
Temps are good so far.
Yeah? And it's not doing that thing it was doing before,
Yeah.
which it was...
The clutch pedal feels a little weird and the shifter might need an adjustment. It's actually holding steady. 190 is okay. Oh, it's a little bit bumpy.
I will say that this seat is quite comfortable.
I know, we need to reupholster the Stink Bug seat. Because it's creeping up a bit. 210. The fan should be on. Is that a driveway or a pullout? I'm just curious. 210. It really is that hot. Let me let you in on a little secret.
Yeah. What's your secret?
Almost every time after you pull over, you got to do one of them.
Oh, okay. So back to temperature. Is 210 bad?
No, it's not.
So then why are you so nervous about it?
Because if it goes past that and like starts climbing, there's not a lot of time to get it back.
You're gonna do a fucking fast out of here, are you?
Yeah. Well, depending on what happens. It's doing better. Like, I think my electrical thing helped because it's not doing this shit.
No, it was like really.
Every gear change, it would move.
Every gear change, and it was like not stagnant. It was
I gotta tighten this up. She's all over the road.
Dazed and confused again.
All right. I'm gonna get the truck out.
So you don't need to go.
No, you can stay here. In other news, we learned that a crew cab Duramax, short bed, but crew cab Duramax, takes up the same space as a 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner. All right, well, I think that's gonna do it for this episode of TYGR's Garage. All in all, a successful test. I truly think the biggest repair we made today was that ground strap. The gauge didn't do the jumpy thing like it did before. The motor ran about 210. It said 210 on the mechanical gauge. I'm pretty sure that's okay. I just need to get over myself a bit. This car's really, really important to me. Maybe someday I'll tell that story, but for now, just know it is irreplaceable, and I'm anxious about driving it every single time. There's a couple other things I want to do. The clutching gauge is really low. I need to make an adjustment there and maybe adjust the linkage on the box or just kind of get more used to where the gears are at. It's tough jumping between cars. All in all, no major failures. Runs good, sounds good. Thank you for following along. Please subscribe, comment, like. We'll see you guys next time.